Well, we're live now. Hey, welcome back to the Hangout. This is Johnny Mac, better known as Johnny Magnificent. And what I wanted to share with you tonight is something of vital importance, something so significant, so incredible that it couldn't wait. So I wanted to just take a time and come back into to the home office, to the bat cave, if you will. And I wanted to just share with you why we're doing what we're doing. You see, we're talking about going to another level. And in order to get that to that another level, you have to understand the level that you currently are at. And that level is something that may or may not be where you want to be at. But in order to get to that next level, there's certain things that you must accomplish, certain things that must go into the scenario. So everyone we're talking with tonight wants to write their own book. They they want to create a book. You see all these books behind me, and we're talking about authoring your own book, presenting written words in such a manner that people buy them, people read them, people enjoy them, people are entertained by them. Now, you know, there's a lot that can be said for being a published author. It gives you credibility. It gives you a stable platform to speak or to present an idea or a concept or a belief from. But whatever, it must be that you have to begin, and not only begin, but you have to have a complete content, and you have to have a finish that makes sense so that your finished product is something that you can share with people, that you can give with people, and then they're able to look at it and enjoy it. So there's certain steps that are required, that you're required to take in order to accomplish that. Now, traditionally, what would happen is that you would write your manuscript painstakingly and take those printed pages and send them to a traditional book publisher, and that publisher may or may not have accepted your hard won work. You know, you worked, you bled, you sweated, and you cried, and you stayed up late, and you did everything that you felt was necessary, and you ended up with a product that you said, yes, I'm excited, I'm satisfied, and you sent it off to these people, and they looked at your work and they said, aha, this is trash, this is worthless, this doesn't meet the standards that we've set for what a book should be. So they sent it back with a denial stamp on it, and you were like, wow, did they even take the time to read it? Because I know I said something significant. I know I said something important. But nevertheless, it didn't get published. Well, within the last 10 years, there's been a paradigm shift. There's been a change in the publishing world. And that is shutting down newspapers. This change is causing there's so much upheaval and new direction and a new structure to come into place. This is the digital revolution. And in this digital print revolution, people are reading books online. They're reading books on their phones, their mobile phones. They're reading books on reading devices. So the actual print word is slowly but surely just disappearing as a published printed word. Now, it's digitally presented on all the devices that I mentioned earlier. But as far as a hard copy product, that's something that's going out the window. Last year, the ebook outpaced the actual print book by about 2 to 1, and that's significant. That's a paradigm shift, and it's something that you need to pay attention to. Ebooks are cost effective. They're cheap to produce, and they're very high return on your investment of time. And sometimes you to get a good book cover, to get someone to proofread or edit your book, to make sure that it's formatted properly, that it meets the standard that the ebook publishers want. But gone are the days of just rejection, because the print on demand publishing arena, publishing phenomenon has says that anybody can be an author. And that's good and it's bad in a sense, because it's allowing some cheap, um, unfiltered crap to just to come into the marketplace. But at the same time, it's allowing some ideas that never would have made it to the marketplace had the author not had this medium to be able to go to and to utilize. So let's talk about that medium for a moment, the print on demand and the digital or ebook format. Now, with the print on demand, what the digital revolution has done for it is that because you can take a manuscript and put it into the cyberspace, as you will, where you can take that manuscript and you can download it and have it stored in the cloud or wherever they store this cyber stuff at. Then once it's requested with the press of a button, the new print dynamics can print one book, 100 books, 1,000 or 1,000,000 books just with one press of the button. So that's allowing more and more authors to get printed, to get um, in print, and to get published. And so the average person now that didn't have these avenues before now has access to some very significant content, or be able to develop and to present significant content. Now, the beauty of that is that the publishing houses don't have to go out and run 1,000,000 copies or 100,000 copies or even 1,000 copies. They can just do it on demand. And in the past, that kept so many people out because they had to print so much and it was so costly to do it. Now these giant printing presses, the digital storing of the actual manuscript, the whole customization and mechanization and has made it possible for the average person to be able to print a book. And you need to understand that. So if you're in the market and you're saying, I want to write a book, I want to publish a book, but I don't want to be the rejection, and I don't have all the money that's required to do some of the things. Listen, my first 5 books were published on a budget so small that I'm still amazed. I was able to, because I'm an English major, I was able to edit and to review my own books, and I looked at the software that a company called CreateSpace presented. And I'm going to talk about CreateSpace a little bit more in a minute. But that software and that template package allowed me to go in and format the book on my own. It allowed me to be able to upload, to publish, to do the book cover, to do the entire process on my own at a cost of zero. So that zero cost now allowed me to be able to translate that into an ebook as well. So ebook and print book, I was up and published in less than 2 weeks in most cases. So I was able to get and the only reason it took me that long was because I was working a full-time job. So I'm saying you're able to, this is so simple and so precise that if you have the time or the content, you can just upload book after book after book after book easily, inexpensively, and be able to get out there and be a published author and receive all the accolades and the wonderful attributes that being a published author presents. Now, having a book is really a brochure. It's a business card, and this allows you to be able to move forward, to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do, and to have access to things you wouldn't have ordinarily have access to. Because as a published author, now you have access to more speaking engagements. To It gives credibility to what you're saying, and it also allows you at book signing events to take that book and be able to sign it and to sell it and make revenue. So that's very, very important. So let's get back to that print process. Now, as an author, the things that I mentioned earlier are important. If you don't have the skill set already in place, or if you don't have the wherewithal to learn that skill set, then it's important that you find someone to do those specific things. So now let's talk about $1,000 budget, getting you a print to be a print author, and having let's say at least 100 copies of your book to send. And what you're going to do is create the content. And that sometimes is the most daunting of tasks. How do I create this manuscript? How do I create this final end product? And let me just say this. There's so much that you can write on. If you're not going to write that fiction novel, that great American novel, if you want to write a how-to book, how-to books are huge right now. How to do this, how to do that, how to be successful, how not to be successful, how to jump rope. It doesn't matter. There's so many topics out there, and you can. What they're suggesting is that you look at the Google AdWords and look at and do Google searches to find out what's trending, what do people want to know right now, and once you find that out, then you can create content about that. And in your research, you can create clever content, you can create consistent content, you can create incredible content. But content, nevertheless, so that now you go from a concept to having content, and then having a creative book that you are now ready to have edited. Then now you're ready to have proofread, to have a book cover designed for. Make sure that your table of contents are there. Those are all the rudimentary, basic things that look and see how a book is constructed. Your acknowledgments, your table of contents, your page numbering, your page formatting. All of that is what you should be able to, for a package of about $4.99, for simple proofing and correction and formatting, all the way up to $1,000 if you want something. If you wanted actually ghost written and have them do all the work for you. And a lot of times ghost written projects can cost, $15,000-$20,000. But let's just say that you've written the product yourself. You say, this is the story of my mom. This is the story of growing up in my junior high school. Well, let me just say, by the way, growing up in my junior high school is a book that's worth written. As a matter of fact, I've written a couple chapters of it, and I put it on Facebook, and all of the students that went to school with me were enjoying it and thinking that it was just such a crafty idea. But moving on, so now you've got the book, you've got the content, you've hired a formatter, you've hired a publisher, you hired a proofreader, you hired all the necessary components so that you now are able to have a good quality looking book. And so now you upload it. And when you upload it onto CreateSpace, it's such a simple, easy technique to process. Let me just say this. CreateSpace and Kindle are both owned by Amazon as well as Audible. So you have a three-phase approach that you can take in getting your book out there and being successful in the publishing market. So with the Audible, that's the audio book. So you're either yourself or have another talent to read your book. Then you have the print version, where now for anywhere from $2 to $5, you've got a print version of your book that you can order at will, POD, print on demand. So I know that I had a book signing in Ohio last year. And I wanted to have enough copies so that I can sell. And so I ordered it. I had the books shipped to the hotel that I stayed at in Ohio. So when I got there, the books were there. I said, wow, this is so great. I didn't have to lug them on the plane or nothing like that. So I ordered 500 copies. So I had copies of several of my books, and I was just able to order them on an instant. They were published and printed and packaged and shipped within a week. So when I got there, my books were there. But at the same time, with just a press of a button, I uploaded the whole content to Kindle. And now I had it on a Kindle. So in this case scenario, I only had two sources. I didn't do the Audible yet, but I had a paperback copy, and I also had the Kindle copy, which was an instantaneous read. And people have said, "Oh, well, Johnny, I didn't bring any money." I said, "Well, go online, go to Amazon, download it there, and leave me a review." And it was just fantastic. It was so simple, and it worked so easily. And that's what we have in place today. That's what we have that's going to allow you to get in the game and to change the game for yourself and all those around you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this: we are at an age, we're at a time when information is changing at just a flip of a light switch, at the push of a button. Knowledge changes and is expanding so rapidly that all the books that you see behind me are probably already obsolete. You're saying the book that you wrote today about how to do this or how to do that could possibly be obsolete by the time you get it printed. So there's new information, and there's a thirst for this information. People are ready to buy it. So you can produce a lucrative empire, a lucrative enterprise, writing ebooks, to be for real with you, but at the same time having that print copy. So when you walk in and you say, "Hey, I'm Johnny Mack, author," you're somebody. Now you're significant, and people will look at you and say, "Wow, look what this person's been able to accomplish. I never thought they had it in them." But you've got it in them. Everybody's got a book in them. So all you have to do is just find out who Now, who you're going to utilize to be able to get that book out of you, and what you're going to say to make sure that everything works the way that you want it. And the final end result is that you have a book that you can be happy with, satisfied with, and that you can be proud to present. So let me recap. There's print on demand. There's Audible. There's CreateSpace. There's Kindle, all owned by Amazon. Amazon has over 500 million credit cards on file. So right now they are the number one bookseller in the world. So if you get on Amazon and you're able to sell your books on Amazon, and as simple as creating an Amazon account, an author page, and now you are actually an affiliate. You're actually a member of Amazon, and you can sell your stuff right there. And people, what they advertise is one click. They can look at your book and say, click, one click, and boom, it's published. And they have all sorts of publication programs where you can have some giveaways, you can have some discounts, you can have some sales. So they help you to sell it because they make money. And a lot of times, well, all the time, when your book is presented out there, if it's doing well, then they'll share some other books of the same genre along with it, and you get some bounce off of that. So if another book is selling pretty well, and all of a sudden you start getting that bounce off of it, it blesses you and it blesses everyone along the way. So now we've got the content. We've got everything presented. We've uploaded it. We have a nice, clean, crisp product that we're making available to the general public. And then all we have to do now is to sit back and wait for not. What we've got to do now is make sure that we publicize this properly, that we do the right, all the right advertising, and making sure that people know that the book is there. You got to do book signing. So now you got to plan these aspects out too. When you're doing book signing, you're doing promotions where you're getting on television, you're getting on radio, you're getting on internet radio, all the different internet programs out there. That you have a marketing strategy to be able to have people know that your book is out there, because once they know it's there, they'll buy it. And there's people that overnight have become overnight sensations, where they have put something out there and they did the proper marketing, the proper promotions, proper strategy, and ended up having a bestseller. An Amazon bestseller is not so difficult to accomplish, but you have to know the process. And in knowing the process, now you can look up and say, wow, I am not only a published author, but I'm an Amazon bestseller. And if you play your cards correctly, you could become an Amazon #1 bestseller in specific niches. And then you finally are able to take that accolade, that information, that knowledge, that kudo, all that, and say, hey, because I am this, I want to speak to you. Because I have accomplished this, I want to be the one to do the presentation. And that opens up so much more for you. So I hope that was effective for you. I hope that was some information that you can use. This is, once again, Johnny Mack. I'm signing off. I'll be back, and the next time I come back, I want you to make sure that you bring somebody with you. And remember this, only you can prevent yourself from being where you want to be. Have a wonderful day. Be blessed.